Welcome to the Foul Play YouTube channel.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode 20 of the Crime Theory Exchange. Today, Jax and I and the panel are going to be discussing the fortuitous and well-deserved stay of execution for Melissa Lucio that the Texas Court of Appeals issued. And then we're also going to discuss, on a lighter note, the Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial. It's been a very popular topic around us on our Discord community. And I think that, any chance we have to watch a trial is a learning experience for those of us who aren't in the legal field, and there's a lot to be learned from it. How are you doing today, Jax?
I'm doing just Jim Dandy. Just Jim Dandy. How are you doing? How you feeling?
I'm all right. I caught the COVID. So I had just kind of briefly, my niece was killed a couple of weekends ago in a car accident on my daughter's birthday. My niece was 24 and she left behind two little boys.
That's horrible.
And yeah, and so I found that out on April 17th, and the 18th I woke up and I felt like I had been in a fight with Muhammad Ali and lost. And never in a million years thought I had been exposed to COVID. I didn't go anywhere. I'm a homebody. I hadn't been out and about or anything. And sure enough, I caught COVID. I went and got tested last week and tested positive for it. I've been fortunate that I've had a pretty mild case. But one thing I will say, if any of y'all have had it, you can probably attest to this. Your energy level it takes a long time. Like, I'm used to getting sick and then 3 or 4 days later, I start feeling better. But I'm still really lethargic. I'm pooped out by like 5-6 o'clock in the afternoon. It's not operated. So, but yep. So I have the ninja. So I don't know. Have you had it yet, Jax?
Not that I'm aware of. No, I suspected that I caught something. I suspected that I caught it in December of 2019. I don't know that for sure. But I was really sick as hell it was about a week before Christmas, actually, 10 days. And I was really sick for about a week, pretty bad. And then I was really lethargic for another week after, maybe two, whatever it was. But officially, I've never had it. I've been tested a couple of times and no.
So I had it, as most of you know, last November, and it wiped me out pretty much for the entire month. There was several weeks where I couldn't even get off the couch. There was, the energy to even move or shift in the seat was about all I could muster. So yeah, I can certainly understand how you felt, Christina.
So it took you a while to get your energy back as well, then.
Oh God, it took me several months after COVID was over, or after I was done with it, to even get back to a manageable level of physical activity.
Yeah, it's something. It really is. And I didn't really even have a bad case. I never lost my sense of taste. I never lost my sense of smell. I did have a massive headache for like 2 days. And then what's weird is I went around my ex and got him sick. And my daughter gave him 2 COVID tests and he tested negative, but he's sicker than I am. So it's so bizarre.
Although
they say those home tests aren't reliable, so that could be it as well. But yeah, it's definitely. I just took another at-home test, and I'm still testing positive for the antibodies. I don't know if that's normal or not, but I have to have surgery in about 9 days. I'm having eye surgery, and I was just curious because you got to have a COVID test to get the surgery, and I was just wondering if I was going to test positive for that. Oh, I don't know. So who all do we have joining us today? We have Alice. How are you? I know Alice is ready to talk about Johnny and Anber.
Yeah, if my computer stops messing me around.
Yeah.
My computer's running really, really slow, but yes. Hello, can you hear me?
Oh yeah, we can hear you. You sound
My
good.
computer is being funny and it's messing me around. I've had to put my headset in, so that'll be why I'm quite clear. But yes, definitely the Johnny Depp trial has certainly been an eye-opener. Of the lies. I mean, I knew she was a liar anyway, just with what I've seen and what I've heard. But this has just opened it up even more. It's unbelievable what she's lied to and what she's lied about. And right now we're on the $7 million that she was supposed to have donated and why she hasn't donated it. So it's getting a bit juicy now. But all good.
That's going to be. I forgot about that. The whole money for the domestic violence fund or something, right?
Yeah, it's the ACLU. She was supposed to donate $3.5 million to the ACLU and $3.5 million to a children's hospital. She was on a German TV program and everything like that, and she said that she had already donated the full $7 million to the both charities. Well, it's coming out now that she hasn't donated a frigging penny herself. Elon Musk has donated on her behalf. Johnny Depp donated because he didn't give her the money, he donated it straight to them, and she has still not paid a penny out of her own pocket. So it's all coming to light. And I've just signed a petition for her to be kicked out of Aquaman as well, because she bloody should. She ruined his career and his reputation. Now it's hers that should be doing the toilet.
Well, I think personally she probably doesn't have a lot of money. I think she's probably someone who has blown through a lot of her money. She just seems like the type that isn't very wise about finances. So it's going to be interesting. I think about it like what Johnny Depp will get out of this and why he's even spending all this money, because this is not a cheap trial.
No, he's got nothing to, Christina, he's got nothing to gain anymore. The damage is already done because of what she put out. You know what I mean? So, Johnny said it himself on the stand the other day there. He says, whether I lose this case or whether I win this case is immaterial now, because the damage has been done and it didn't need to go there. All Johnny Depp is trying to do is clear his name from people calling him a wife beater, which I totally get. And I totally understand. He's not doing it for the money or anything like that. You know what I mean? He's just trying to prove that she's lied, and the fact that she wrote this op-ed in 2018 saying that she was in a domestic violence relationship in 2016. Well, she only got divorced with Johnny Depp in 2016. So who else is in the relationship that she's talking about? Everybody knows that she was married to Johnny Depp. So whether she named him in that op-ed or not, with her saying, I was in an abusive relationship 2 years before, well, she was with Johnny Depp. You know what I mean? Common sense tells you that. And everybody jumped on the bandwagon. So it's him just trying to clear his name. And he's not in it for the money or anything like that. He wanted to get his story out. He is now, because he got shut down, nobody wanted to speak to him or anything like that. Now he's in his platform to get out what he wanted to say. That's it. It's done for Johnny now. You know what I mean? I don't think he really cares now what happens, whether he wins or loses. He's got his say out there, and he's told the truth.
Yeah, I agree. You get excited, and your internet speed seems to rev up.
Yeah, and I noticed that it's like it's playing catch up because her voice gets really fast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know. I need to try and slow myself down a bit. It's just I don't. If I've seen any proof whatsoever that he was domestically violent in any way whatsoever, I would be scared. You know, no, wait a minute. They're just as bad as each other. They both hurt each other or whatever, because I'm against all kinds of domestic violence. You know what I mean? But what I've seen, what I've heard, the only one that was domestically violent with assaults was her. Yes, he said a few things. He called her the C word a few times in messages and things like that. But I'm sorry, I've said worse about ex-partners and things like that in text messages than I've ever seen for what Johnny Depp wrote. And it's just his vocabulary in a way, you know what I mean? The way he expresses himself. Everything that I've seen, she is the domestic violence person, not him.
Yeah, I think he was the one being abused, for sure.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
For sure. Just the belittling that she would call him. I mean, she would call him a fat old man. Didn't like being around his pals because they were old and all they did was sit down and play guitar. Well, I'm sorry, missus, but he was in his fucking 50s, at least in his 50s, before you even married him. So if you thought he was an old man, why the hell did you go there? You know what I mean? She knew exactly what she was doing from the beginning, and this was her plan from the beginning, in my opinion, anyway. This was her plan. She wanted to destroy him and make everybody believe her, to boost her career ratings and her financial stability and everything like that. Well, I'm sorry, missus, but it's seriously backfiring on you.
So how are you doing, Alice? You're okay. Breathe.
Yeah.
Yeah. How are you, Disco? I'm so happy you're here. Can you chat?
Yes, I can chat. I just got back into work and saw you were on, so I'm very excited. Yes, everybody's very het up about Johnny Depp, and it's a very sad thing to see in the public realm in some ways. But I don't know. I don't really like to judge because there seems like a lot of toxicity going on, but I didn't really feel for that girl. She was the one that tried to bring the dogs into Australia and they had to be quarantined, isn't that right?
Yep.
I think I had a thing against her there because those dogs could have died. It was a really selfish move for her to do. So I think that's my only comment that Amber heard.
That when she had that interview, she never in a million years thought further than, I want attention. I'm gonna say I was in a domestic violence relationship a couple of years ago, and she never even thought that this is where that statement for attention in an interview would lead her to where she's at today. I don't think.
No, but that's why I brought up the dog thing. Like I remember it. Like, you're not allowed to bring your dogs. It's a real risk to Australia. All of those things are in place for a reason, and she just thought that it didn't apply to her, and that's a certain kind of dangerous attitude that she could have risked her own dog's life. And I sort of like take her on that level of what was she thinking?
Yeah, but the thing is though, Disco, the story that she told wasn't even her story. It was her PA's story.
Oh
Her
yeah,
PA
heard about that.
was sexually assaulted, and she's stole her PA's story and said that Johnny Depp has now sexually assaulted her, and that has only came out since Johnny has done this lawsuit against her. Now he sexually assaulted her twice, and on one of the occasions it was with a bottle. It's like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? It really is. It's a mixture of Gone Girl and Single White Female. That's Amber's story.
As I said, she doesn't seem to care for not much but herself, you know.
No, it's all lies.
And I know they're still humans and they deserve, you know, all the same, but because they're rich and stuff, I don't really care for them that much. I don't care for their plight as much personally. I think they've got enough support, you know. So it's just my opinion. I mean, it is awful to happen for him, and I'm you know, Johnny Depp's not a terrible person in my eyes for over the years, but I just think that I don't know. It's a big, huge distraction for some reason.
Yeah, I agree with that, Disco. I think they.
And the one thing I will say is that, you know, it's like, oh, it'll ruin his career. It won't ruin Johnny Depp's career. Mel Gibson's fine and well and working in Hollywood. They don't care. Amber Heard's career is over, and that's worrying for me.
Now it might be over, but she destroyed his career, Disco. He lost his Fantastic Beasts movie role. Pirates of the Caribbean dropped him. Nobody wanted to hire him. Nobody wanted to do interviews with him or everything like that. He was blacklisted in Hollywood because of the BS that she's put out there about him. You know what I mean? So now it's time for Johnny's career to get back up there, and it's time for her career to take a dive, because I'm boycotting Aquaman 2. If she's in it, I'm not watching it. It's as simple as that.
She's still in it. I checked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you saw that, Jax. Remember, you brought that attention to the video with all the negative comments on YouTube, and how we'd never seen anything like that before. Do you remember? It was like it looks like Russian bots that just kept commenting on the trailer of her new film. I think it was you that posted it, and there was just thousands of comments within an hour, all negative, like all targeted to her trailer of, and I've never seen that happen to Mel Gibson.
Yeah. I mean, there was. I remember when it was announced. I really wasn't involved in it. I mean, I like, you know, those movies and stuff, but I remember seeing something on Twitter that people went ballistic when it was announced that she was going to be part of it, and there's actually a petition, I think, somewhere to get her to run her out of the movie. But I checked IMDb, and she's still listed as one of the co-stars. So
yeah, but no, I just mean that actively being targeted online like that. Like that was a witch hunt on that YouTube thing. I've never seen anything like it. Like, and not since. You know.
I'm not sure it was me that pointed out the YouTube thing, but I get what you're saying for sure.
Yeah. I think it was. I think because we were going, wow, that's weird. We didn't, and this was before all this kicked off. I think this was like maybe coming on a couple of years ago or something, maybe a year. I just thought that was interesting. That really, really harsh reaction to it when we've seen certain other types get away with all kinds of things and still have their careers in Hollywood. So it's just something I observed. Thought it was interesting.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, from like the little bit of gossip that I pay attention to, she's not a nice person. Like, even Johnny Depp aside, she is a just genuinely ugly individual. And I find it so funny that someone who's so physically attractive can have such an ugly soul. And I look at her now, and there's nothing attractive about her at all.
Well, from a guy standpoint, I mean, I don't know how Savrikov feels, but from a guy standpoint, she's really a really attractive person as far as physical beauty. But I'm one of these people that, you know, if someone acts really bad, that just really tarnishes them to me completely.
Yeah, their looks fall away when they're and they become ugly. I've seen that happen before.
It's like my dad told me, beauty skin deep and ugly runs all the way to the bone.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you can be the most beautiful woman in the world, but if as soon as you open your mouth, stupid comes out, it does, your outside beauty doesn't matter.
Yeah, you're done.
So there's a video of, or I'm sorry, Amber Heard was arrested for beating up her ex-girlfriend.
Oh,
and
really?
She attacked her
Yes.
PA as well.
She was.
She's been all over. She's been telling me.
She
Like,
was. Sorry. Go ahead.
I think she spat in the face of one of her PAs or somebody who worked for her, or she's been abusing the workers.
We you know, we should probably get through all the hellos and then.
Yeah. Right. How are you, Susan?
I'm good. Thank you, Christina.
Good.
I'm just going to change the subject a little bit here and just say how elated and relieved I am for Melissa Lucio. And I really hope that this leads to either a new trial or her
dismissal. Or dismissal.
Inevitably to her complete exoneration.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, what a relief. Oh my
God. Put her on death row again. Sorry, can I just clarify? They're not allowed to put her on death row again. That's it, stayed. Like,
not right now. Not right now.
Unless she had a new trial, I think they. I don't think they'd ever go there, but yeah.
She is still on death row. Y'all do understand that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. She has not been moved off of solitary confinement.
Her death date's just been delayed.
Right. All that happened was the execution date was it was ceased, and thankfully, and we'll talk about this more. So at this point, nothing's changed for Melissa Lucio except for the fact that she didn't die yesterday.
Yeah.
And she doesn't currently have a death date.
Right. But she's still death row. She's still convicted of beating her daughter to death. And she still faces eventual execution or death behind bars. So,
but I do think this is going to lead her out of it.
I hope. I pray so. Yes.
With the backing that she has, if it doesn't, we know there's something seriously wrong with our system, but.
Then I think we're jaded now, and we recognize that even though everyone's super excited and super happy that we won, that we really didn't win anything except Melissa Lucio didn't die.
That's a pretty big win.
It is.
I mean,
but it's just not.
Gotta take it day by day. Yeah.
Exactly. And all right, let's get through the panel. Yeah. How are you today, Rhonda? I'm glad you're here. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. I'm able to be here. I haven't been able to do any of my own shows for a couple of weeks because I'm in training for my job. But then I've become very sick, and so now I can't finish my training until next week. So I'm
COVID?
No, I don't think so. I have bronchitis and asthma and a sinus infection. I haven't had any symptoms of COVID that I know of, but I haven't been tested either. But I deal with this kind of stuff usually during allergy seasons.
Change of season. Change of season.
Yeah, and that could be it too. We've been having some really high pollen and whatever here in our area. For some reason, my daughter's also got the sinuses and watery, itchy eyes and everything, and she usually doesn't. So I'm just battling a nasty headache and face aches and asthma, but it's not something that I'm not used to. I guess if that makes sense. I don't like it, but I know, I know how to deal with it. Yeah, so I'm just doing that. But yeah, so I thought, gosh, I don't have my own show today, and um, so I have a chance to jump in for a little bit until the trial comes back on, and I'm sorry, I'm going to admit I'll just be popping out at that point. I'm with Alice like that, so but I'll listen to the rest of it, later on as well. So, and then I think we're doing something later, right, Jack?
Yeah, at 4 o'clock at 4 Central, we're going to be reading the latest Colburn, the Netflix material that we got that Cherie got us.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
Are you doing that at 4 or 4:30? Because the trial's running a half hour late today.
Just a wee catch up, because I'd love somebody to explain to me what is going on in Colburn's trial. So if you read it, will you explain some of it afterwards?
Oh yeah, I think
That'll maybe we'll just do a little brief on this part of it at least. Yeah, we'll do a little brief talk about it prior to reading it. It's pretty easy to understand what's happening right now. So
Greaseback's just saying no, essentially, isn't it?
Basically, yeah.
Sorry, I just think it's funny.
Yeah. So anyway,
I can change it to 4:30. I set it for 4. It's not a big deal to me. I'm fine with 4:30.
Did you schedule it already, Jack? I didn't see it pop up.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I know you're good like that. You're awesome. Well, whatever works for everyone else, because I know it's not just about me and Alice and Johnny. So
that's fine.
Whatever time I'll be there.
I can change it to 4:30. It's no big deal. That's fine. So everybody, 4:30 Central.
Thanks, Jack.
How are you today? We got to get you a picture, Sapper. He might be on the phone. Oh, no, there he is.
Oh, I couldn't. You broke up. I couldn't hear what you were saying. Doing pretty good. I'll be doing a lot better if Elon Musk accepts the bid to buy my computer.
Yeah, wouldn't we all? I need
That's
no. And Zoe, are you monitoring? Or are you here? Yay!
I'm here.
There's Zoe.
Hi.
How are you today, madam?
I'm okay. I'm okay. I have a few days off, so I'm fine.
Yeah, it's party.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, I follow Melissa's kids on TikTok.
Hey, I'm sorry. I do have a question for you, Christina, and then you can, because I'm doing something else in the background here, trying to help them tedious. His messages that you approved the other day, that were they in the spam filter?
Oh, no. So what I did was I just went on his profile, and when I was looking on his profile, almost every one of his posts and comments had a clickable approve on them. So I just went through and approved them all.
Well, that's in the spam filter. So yeah.
It wasn't in the spam filter though, because I was on his profile. But when I went to the spam filter, there was nothing. Like, we're not getting here. I think I screenshotted it. Hold on.
That's so strange.
It is.
You shouldn't have been able to click anything in his profile, being in his profile.
Here, this is. I took this with my phone of my laptop screen, and if you look, hold on, I'm trying to get it for you. I don't want to put it in CTE text.
No, just DM it to me.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get this admin to help him get his whatever's going on fixed. It's crazy.
So see, you can see that I'm on his profile, right? Because you see where it says all subreddits, newest post and comments. And then you can see, it's such a horrible picture, but see where it says approved? Almost every one of his comments and posts had, it said approved. So I just clicked on every one of them and approved them.
Yeah, but you're in the mod queue, so.
But no, yeah. I'm not. I was on Tim Tedious's profile. I wasn't in our mod queue. Because see how it's all Tim Tedious? That's his profile. That wasn't a TikTok Manitowoc page. That was Tim Tedious's page. And I just went through every one of his, and almost everyone going back 3 years had, it looks like someone had mass reported him, is what I thought. That's why I just went through and approved them all. I figured somebody went through and mass reported him. Like, you know how they caught my original account and got me deleted by mass reporting thing? Yeah.
Okay.
So
all right.
Nobody's talking to you though, because I wanted to.
Well, he sent me the one message, but this, and if this admin can, they can see everything. So, all right. Yeah. Thank you very much.
So,
okay. So basically, what you're saying is Elon needs to buy Reddit next.
Please.
Yes, for sure.
All right. I'll talk to him.
Okay. Thank you. And and buy Christina a brand new MacBook. A fancy one. Like if I'm gonna ask for things, I want like the $6,000 MacBook, please and thank you, Elon. I'll put it to good use. I'm doing good things with it. I won't be, I won't be. I'll do mostly good things with it. Anyway, so I follow a few of Melissa Lucio's children on TikTok, and one of her children posted a phone call, and it's of Melissa. It's to Melissa from a senator, and I shared it with Jax, and I was thinking we could play it here, so we can hear Melissa's voice for herself. And I don't want to give the call away. It's not very long. I think it's like a minute and a half. Can you play that, Jax? Is that possible?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Where's it at?
Now, will we need to mute? How will we do this?
You should be able to hear it in the background. Well, people here in Discord might need to mute, but I doubt it because this is a separate recording.
Okay. I'm always confused about it.
Yeah, I think it's I don't think you'll have to mute, but if it starts echoing badly, then I'll stop and everybody can, whoever needs to can mute. This is a little over a minute recording, I think. So
yeah.
All right, here we go.
State Representative Jeff Leach.
Okay, hold on just a second. Let me get closer. I think we lost signal. Hold on just a second. Hello?
Melissa.
Yes.
Hey, this is Jeff Leach.
Yes, sir.
How are you today?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
Good. Have you heard the news?
No, what?
You haven't heard the news yet?
No, what happened?
The Court of Criminal Appeals issued a stay of your execution for Wednesday.
Are you serious? Are you serious? When did this happen?
We just got word about 15 minutes ago.
Oh my God! That is wonderful! Oh my God! What does that mean?
Well, it means you're gonna wake up on Thursday morning,
Oh my goodness!
and
Oh, thank you, God.
you're not making the trip to Huntsville on Wednesday, and the order was very strong in that it appears that you're gonna get a new trial at the very least.
Oh my goodness. That is so
That's it. Tears of joy. Tears of relief.
Oh my God, I'm crying.
Oh my gosh, that was so beautiful.
Yeah, that was that. Just to hear her voice herself, and the relief. You could just hear the relief leaving, coming out here. Oh, thank God. That's awesome. I'm so chuffed.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. I just can't.
Hopefully none of us will be in that situation. What a nice, to get that kind of relief after,
Yeah, you're sitting there facing for months. Your death day. It's like,
and alone as well in solitary confinement. It's cruel and unusual punishment. But I'm very happy. It's very moving.
Yeah, so what happens now? I mean, I know she's still on death row at the moment. Do they have to wait for court's decision or anything like that before she can get removed off of death row?
I'm not really sure how that process works. I don't know if her lawyers will move for a new trial, or I don't know. I just don't know. I'm not legalese enough to speak on that. Maybe Sapricot knows.
I'm steady talking here with my mic muted. So I'm like, why isn't anyone listening to me? Well, maybe they might. So if you pull up, there's two decisions. There were two decisions issued by the Texas Court of Appeals.
Let me pull that up.
Look, let's pull up the one that's labeled Melissa Lucio, April 25th mandamus, because this is the one that concerns me. Because if this case doesn't do anything else, it's going to show us just how hamstringed EDPA and PLRA, just how difficult it is to get relief, even when you're innocent, in the criminal courts, in the state courts, thanks to this awful bit of legislation. So this is the decision regarding the mandamus petition, and that petition was filed. Let's see. I guess start on page 2. It says the respondent, which is the Honorable, and she's not, Gabriela Garcia, judge of the 138th Judicial District Court, subsequently scheduled the relator, and the relator is Melissa, the relator's execution for April 27th, 2022. On March 21st of 2022, the relator filed the pleadings currently before us. Now, Melissa's legal team filed several motions. In her mandamus petition, the relator asserts that she has filed a motion to recuse or disqualify the respondent, that's the judge, but the respondent has failed to timely rule on the motion as Texas Rule of Civil Procedure 18A requires. Because the respondent has refused to rule on the motion or refer it to the regional presiding judge, the relator contends this court should compel the respondent to act in accordance with Rule 18A. Now, Frank had shared with us on April 4th, the court issued a statement. I don't know what the professional word or legal word would be for it, but basically they issued a ruling saying that they are giving the state and the judge, the DA and the judge, 3 days to respond to these motions. So on April 4th, we gave the state and respondent the opportunity to respond to the petition by Monday, April 11th, 2022. Only the state filed a response. So I tried to, they still haven't published what DA Saeen's office responded with. A relator is entitled to mandamus relief against a trial court when, one, the relator has no other adequate legal remedy, and two, the act sought to be compelled is purely ministerial. Texas Rule of Civil Procedure titled Duties of the Respondent Judge, Failure to Comply states, the Texas Rule of Civil Procedure is applicable to criminal cases. Regardless of whether the motion complies with this rule, the respondent judge, within 3 business days after the motion is filed, must either A, sign and file with the clerk an order of recusal or disqualification, or B, sign and file with the clerk an order referring the motion to the regional presiding judge. And it says, in De Leon versus Aguilar, this court held, when a recusal motion is timely filed, Rule 18A leaves a trial judge with no discretion. The trial judge must either recuse himself or refer the motion for another judge to decide. Any criminal cases to the contrary, such as McClellan, were overruled. Rule 18A does not contemplate that a judge whose impartiality is questioned can nevertheless determine whether the allegations of bias against him state sufficient grounds for recusal. Thus, the relator has shown that the act sought to be compelled is purely ministerial. Further, Rule 18A F3 is titled Failure to Comply, and it states that if the respondent judge fails to comply with a duty imposed by this rule, the movement may notify the regional presiding judge. But this language does not impose any duty upon the regional presiding judge or the respondent judge. Therefore, we find that it is not an adequate remedy at law, and the relator has no other adequate remedy at this time. Consequently, we conditionally grant mandamus relief. The writ of mandamus will issue only in the event that respondent fails to comply with this opinion within 3 days of the date of this opinion. The relator's motion to stay her execution is denied. Now, I don't know about y'all, but that don't make no sense.
Well, it sounds to me like they're giving the judge an out by saying that there's no remedy for the judge, which there is, but there is. It says that she has 3 days to reply.
Mm-hmm. So I just interesting that the media is not reporting on this, right? And this is basically saying that the judge has until April 28th to respond, which is today, and that because her duties were ministerial, I mean, and I think that word means like administrative, that the conflict isn't itself warrant of relief.
I am totally confused.
Yeah, me too. Don't feel bad. Me too. Basically, this is basically saying, even though her public defender's wife is now the judge's executive assistant, that's not itself enough of a conflict that Judge Garcia's office should recuse herself. That's what I'm getting from it. Because that's what says, you see how they don't give you any of the facts, right? They don't tell you why Melissa's filing this motion.
I just looked up the definition of ministerial, and it says it's got several definitions, but in law, it says primary tabs. A ministerial act is an act performed in a prescribed manner and in obedience to a legal authority without regard to one's own judgment or discretion.
Right. Okay. So basically they're saying because all Garcia did was set the death date, it doesn't matter that Irma Gilman works for her. But I would argue that it does matter because no one should just so willy-nilly set a date for someone to be executed without first making sure that the case is just. And that makes sense to me. I don't know, you know what I mean? But I'm sure legally they have a loophole for why what I'm saying is not accurate. But when, Peter Gilman, who was Melissa's public defender, his wife was his paralegal during Melissa's case. She is now the executive assistant for the judge who signed Melissa's death warrant. She's the judge that sits over Melissa's case. If and when it's reopened, I think Gabby Garcia will be the woman who they will go before.
But basically, it's our case.
Yeah, I think that's how it works.
I see.
Yeah. And this court's basically saying no big deal. I mean, this is deciding a woman's life. Isn't it bizarre that a woman could die because of what was written on that paper? Like the stuff I just read. It's just insane to me. It really is.
Yeah.
If you read I know you just read whatever that document was, but if you read all the news reports, basically what the Court of Appeals did was kicked it back down to the trial court and said, you have questions to answer.
Mm-hmm.
Now they don't just like in Avery's case, they don't mention anything about holding an evidentiary hearing per se, but they do specify that there are issues that the trial court needs to address. So if it goes down to Garcia, she's going to have to figure out how those questions get answered.
Yeah. So that was the mandamus. Now we're going to read the ex parte, which is the one everybody's talking about. It's a 3-page document. It's the other one I sent you, Jax.
It's on the screen.
Okay. So this is the ex parte for Melissa Elizabeth Lucio. It's a per curiam. So we learned from the Stephen Avery cases that per curiam means they are not published. No other case can use this ruling to help them in court. And I always find those interesting. Because to me it says we'll do this to this person, but we don't want you doing it to anyone else. And the law should be applied uniformly. If it can happen to one, it should happen to everyone because we're all the same, in my opinion. So anytime I see per curiam, my ears and my spidey senses go up. But it says we have before us a subsequent application for a writ of habeas corpus filed pursuant to the provisions of Texas Code of Criminal Procedure, Article 11.071, Substatute 5, and a motion to stay applicant's execution. In July of 2008, a jury convicted the applicant of the February 2007 capital murder of her 2-year-old daughter based on the jury's answers to the special issues submitted pursuant to Article 37.071. The trial court sentenced applicant to death. this court affirmed applicant's conviction and sentence on direct appeal. Lucio v. State 351 SW3D 878. We also denied relief on applicant's initial post-conviction writ of habeas corpus application, ex parte Lucio, and it gets the case number. That's also not designated for publication. The trial court ultimately scheduled applicant's execution for April 27th, 2022. On April 18th, she filed the instant habeas application. She raises 9 claims in her application. Specifically, applicant asserts that 1, but for the state's use of false testimony, no juror would have convicted her. 2, previously unavailable scientific evidence would preclude her conviction. 3, she is actually innocent. 4, her trial counsel provided constitutionally ineffective assistance. 5, the state suppressed favorable material evidence in violation of Brady v. Maryland. 6, the state violated her Sixth Amendment right to be free from uncounseled pretrial interrogation. 7, her conviction and death sentence are tainted by juror misconduct. 8, gender bias tainted her prosecution and contributed to her wrongful conviction. And 9, she is innocent of the death penalty. After reviewing, right? Basically, she's innocent. After reviewing the record, we have determined that claims 1, 2, 3, and 5 meet the requirements of Article 11.071, substatute 5A. We therefore remand those claims to the trial court for a merits review. The remaining claims do not meet the requirements of Article 11.071 and should not be reviewed. Applicant's execution is stayed pending resolution of the remanded claim. So it's a merits review. That's not an, what is a merits? That's not a, okay. So
it's not a retrial. It's not an evidentiary hearing. It's basically just the court gets to look at it and say, does it have merit or not have merit? And the judge could easily say, no, sorry, no merits here.
Yeah, exactly. So, in Texas, it's not a, so when the senator was on the phone and he says it appears you're going to get a new trial, what he really meant to say was you're not getting a new trial. It's a review of the hearing decision by the court to determine whether the decision taken by the agency was correct. So now we have to be realistic here and say, if this is the same court that said she needed a death date, the same court who can't even be bothered to submit a motion about whether they should even be hearing the case, is she going to get a just review?
Well, hopefully, if it goes before this Gabriela Garcia, she's going to take more than half second to just look at stuff and say, no, bye.
Yeah. And then, but her executive assistant would be better off if Melissa's case isn't reopened. So we have to count on her integrity to make sure that Judge Garcia gets the right items to review. She could very simply shred them.
Yeah, that's another thing. They need to recuse themselves if that does indeed happen. Yeah, they need to be recused like right away.
Yeah. So I just, I am ecstatic that Melissa Lucio is still alive. I just don't think I don't think society recognizes what this really means. Oh, and Rhonda, you said under merits review, a reviewer can start from scratch and decide what the right decision should be. So who's the reviewer?
That would be the circuit court or the trial court, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I believe it's the trial court.
Which is the ones who are not going to be unbiased. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, and I'm not trying to rain on this day at all. I think this is a very important case. I think we're going to learn a lot about the justice system.
Well, they just got rattled off 9 different points on that first page there or whatever. Mm-hmm. These violations that they're listing, and that's pretty significant.
Yeah, but they only determined 4 of them meet the requirements. So of the 9, they said 1, 2, 3, and 5. Yep. So, but for the state's use of false testimony, previously unavailable scientific evidence would preclude her conviction. She is actually innocent, and the state committed a Brady. So it's just going to be an interesting case. It's going to be interesting to see if this is played out the way that it should be. Melissa Lucio should no longer be in prison after this review.
You know who would be the right person to ask this question of? Would be Travis.
Yeah, definitely. That's a good idea.
Does this call for the attorneys in the case to file anything with the circuit court, or is this simply the paper is moved to the circuit court and they just do their own thing regardless of any motions or anything? Is there going to be any filings or any of that, or is this just simply a case of the court reviewing on their own?
That is the question.
Yeah, it's hopefully he'll watch this and he will give us some information about it, and even Frank would have good information about it. And I'm sure he's paying attention to this because even though Nicole's case isn't a death penalty case, these sorts of rulings, especially because his case is also a Texas case, they have to be informative for him as well to kind of feel how to weigh in.
This Brady violation too here caught my eye. Number 5, state suppressed favorable material evidence in a Brady v. Maryland.
Yeah, and I wonder if that's not the Villanova interview of Melissa's daughter Alex saying that Alex caused Mariah's death.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what they're considering Brady. The habeas, but that was many pages of documents ago. I think that's what they're alleging, but I don't know. All right, so that's enough of the doom and gloom. I am extremely grateful that she's alive.
Living to fight another day.
Right. Any avenue to try and get relief is better than no avenue at all. And that's what's most important. She has options. But it's just so EDPA and PLRA make the path to exoneration so difficult, even when you're innocent. And even when you're clear, when there's evidence of clear innocence, it's still such a difficult road to navigate. And yeah, I don't see anything changing anytime soon to remedy that. And you would think that these cases where it's clear these people are innocent, and showing how difficult it was to even get to this point would be ammunition to get legislators to do something about EDPA and PLRA. So let's talk about Johnny and Amber.
Well, I can tell you right now, Alice does not want to talk about that case at all. She just doesn't. Okay, so don't talk to. Yeah, she didn't want to talk about that case.
About Johnny and Amber is, I believe that she's sunk at this point. She's already sunk. She's done. She's done. She's been proven to be a liar. Her personality disorders are extremely valid and believable. And even I mean, it would be great because I understand now that Elon Musk and James Franco have dropped off of Amber's witness list. That doesn't mean, if I'm correct, that doesn't mean that Johnny's team can't subpoena them to testify. Yeah, there'll be hostile witnesses, of course, but I think they still have the ability to subpoena both of them. And I'm mostly interested in Elon Musk, of course, because of the money. With James Franco, it's just about, proving that she cheated on Johnny while they were still married. But with Elon Musk, we're talking about money, like lots and lots of money. And I don't know if this is a bombshell to anyone listening, but also the rumors look really, really good and valid that Elon Musk is the father of Amber's child. So,
What?
Elon Musk has a lot of stake in this case, in my opinion. So,
I didn't even know Bird had a kid.
Yeah, unfortunately, she has a child. And I was trying to comment on that.
Which was a donor.
Yes.
Yes.
She was.
No,
She was a
she
surrogate
never had
pregnancy.
the child.
No. She didn't. It was a surrogate pregnancy. She didn't carry the child.
Yeah.
She's too vain for that.
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
it was a surrogate child, and apparently there is email proof of that Elon Musk had his sperm frozen in agreement with Amber that they would at some point in the future have a surrogate together. And so, there's now he tried to take that back from what I understand from the emails or the documents, and she refused and then hired the surrogate or whatever. Now, how that all works out, I don't know. I actually have a website that that I haven't looked at yet thoroughly, but it seems there's a ton of information
What
in this
difference
website.
does all this make, Rhonda?
Yeah, how does
in
that
this
make
trial?
Elon relevant
What
to the case
difference?
at all?
Well, none of that. Well, the only reason that Elon Musk,
Right.
that is important is that he was there. There's proof that he donated to the ACLU and said it was in Amber's behalf and whatever. But at any rate, Amber Heard was not paying the ACLU from the $7 million divorce settlement like she promised to do and like she claims that she did. And she's behind on those payments, 2 years, I believe, behind on the payments. The only amount of money that Amber paid to the ACLU donation was $350,000. The rest of what's been paid has come from Johnny Depp and Elon Musk. And so.
And the only point of that is that it makes her a liar. The ACLU doesn't care where the money comes from.
No,
as
they
long as
don't
they
care.
get it.
They don't care.
No.
But yes, it makes her a liar.
It's only a point that she lied. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a point that she lied
what
about
was the doctor's name? The psychologist.
What's that?
What was the psychologist's name that
Oh, Dr.
was on
Curry.
the stand?
Dr. Curry.
Dr. Darling.
That was fascinating.
It was extremely
fascinating. If you don't watch any other of the trial, that is worth watching.
Yes. And she was the most professional and the most direct. She talked to the jury when she was explaining things. And she was very, very compelling. And so, you know, and that was really, really good to hear that, you know, Amber Heard is definitely damaged, you know, but that doesn't excuse her, in my opinion. But she's
I think she made Johnny's case.
Yes,
she made Johnny's case for him. Yeah.
It's not just about the money either, though. Elon Musk and James Franco were both captured on into the penthouses and everything like that, and some of it is against the allegations of the abuse. They seen her after she was supposedly have been battered by Johnny. They seen her like a few days after and things like that. So I think they were getting brought to the stand, one about the money and one about whether they noticed any bruises, cuts, abrasion, things like that on her face.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, it is all about the defamation. That's what Johnny's case is. But Amber's is different. Amber's is a different case. And so all of the things that we're learning now about the lies and the different things that have happened do play into this trial when it comes to Amber's case. It's just the money and the ACLU and all of that. So I don't know. Those are just my opinions.
Well, those are all great opinions, and I learned.
I mean, well, they're not just opinions; they've been proven in court. So, and yeah, Susan's right. You know, a lot of it doesn't really have anything to do with the defamation suit, but does go to her credibility. And you know, she's there. Her team is saying that Amber did not name Johnny specifically in that op-ed, but she didn't have to. She didn't have to put his name in there. It's the way she wrote it and what the ACLU did in order to try to help. Because there's actually two different op-eds in a sense, because the online version from the paper version are two different versions. And just by, you know, words here and there alone. But one of them, you know, said Johnny Depp's name, and the ACLU was scrambling. This is what we were learning today. The ACLU was scrambling to try to figure out how to get Johnny Depp's name out of that other op-ed. So, you know, Johnny's career was definitely sunk because of that op-ed for sure.
So what is he seeking for relief?
He's I'm going to say only he's seeking 50 million.
Yep.
She's seeking 100 million.
He countersued him.
Huh?
She countersued him, right?
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
And they're gonna do both cases at the same time. So if Amber Heard was wise, she would drop her countersuit right now, because she cannot possibly. Her credibility is shot. Her credibility is shot. Proven shot.
Her lies have came. Yeah, her lies have came to fruition. You know what I mean? Everybody now knows that she has lied through her teeth with Johnny Depp. It's as simple as that. That she was the violent one. not him. She was the aggressor, not him.
I think I pinned
You
in
know,
the Johnny
he would leave
Depp
the room
room.
and
In the Johnny Depp room, I
yes,
pinned the 4-hour recording of Johnny Depp and Amber, and it just get on all 4 hours at once. But if you get a chance to listen to that in bits and pieces, it's shocking. It's shocking and it's disturbing. That's just you get a chance to check that.
The sad thing is like I guess like somebody said, Depp already said on the stand, is whether he wins the case or loses the case, everybody loses, and that's
Yeah.
really the part of it, because Hollywood is still a male dominated syndicate. That's what I'll call them. So this, I don't think it's, everybody says that Amber's sunk. Well, she's not sunk, because look at things Mel Gibson has done and other actors have done. They've done a hell of a lot worse than Amber did, and they're still going strong. So Hollywood has a very short memory. They'll hate her for a year or two, and then she'll be right back.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Sapper. I'm not speaking of her acting career. I'm talking about her credibility as to whether or not Johnny can win his case or not. That's what her acting career I couldn't give two shits about, it doesn't really matter to me.
Yeah, that's kind of why I haven't spent any time dwelling on this case at all, because you basically have two rich people that are quabbling over each other, and it's ridiculous.
Yes.
And
it's just a toxic relationship.
No.
It's like, oh yeah, what are those in public?
It's not just about that though. It's about somebody trying to clear their name because false accusations were brought upon them. That's the only reason why I've got into this case. I couldn't care less whether they were rich and famous or as pure as shit in the gutter. You know what I mean? The fact is that she has lied about domestic violence. She has brought that man down to nothing because of the lies that she spread, because she knew at the time of the 2Me movement that she would get a momentum in this, and she would gain out of this whole situation. I couldn't give a fuck about their careers or anything like that. It's the fact that this man is fighting for his name and not to be known as a fucking a wife beater. You know what I mean? And that's the reason why I'm in it, because what I've seen and heard, she's the abuser, not him. So I hope to God that every media outlet, every person that turned round and said with her lies that he was a wife beater comes out publicly and gives him a fucking apology, because he damn well deserves it.
Could see Amber Heard's movie career tanking over this. She's not that big of a draw.
Oh, if you heard no, like that's over for her. Johnny Depp will do quite well out of it. He needs to shake up his career, and this will be perfect. He'll not be the wacky guy doing Tim Burton movies anymore. It'll be serious roles. He'll do really well out of it. Amber Heard, not so much. Unless she gets her money.
Well, guys, you got to remember.
What she says.
You got to remember, controversy sells and drama sells. Sex sells. It's all the bigger the distraction. The bigger the distraction, the bigger the draw, right? I mean, that's the way it seems to be. Anyway, I don't like it all the times, but that's the way it is.
I know.
Yeah, I think just trying to clear his name. That's it. That's all he's in it for, is to try and clear his name, because nobody would give him a platform to speak his truth, because they all blacklisted him. They didn't want anything to do with him because of her words. So, as I said before, that's it. He's done his thing now. He's been up in the stand for 4.5 days telling his truth and got his truth out there. Now he doesn't give a fuck what happens, I don't think, to be honest, because he's got his truth out there. And it's proven more with everything that's coming out that she's a liar.
Yeah, good on. Must be awful to go through.
Well, the truth is that nobody really wins in this.
No.
Not really, because
it's popcorn. Like people love the demise of others. And
especially the ultra rich. You get to see the end of how they live, and the truth is, it's really not much different than how regular people live, except they've just got more expensive shit.
Yeah, it really is. Like,
but I'm sure that's why Zellner really suggested to Johnny to just don't go to court, because I'm sure she understands how ugly this kind of stuff gets, and it did.
Mm-hmm. But you see, she might be somebody that is completely fine with like that. Any kind of attention's attention. You don't know what you're dealing with here, So, yeah. I'm not making anybody's assessment on anybody's psyche, but it was obviously very toxic. I'm surprised they remained together so long.
Yeah, well, some people are fine when they're not together, but then you put them together and it's gasoline and a match. We've seen it too many times.
Yeah. Because from my knowledge, like Winona Ryder, Kate Moss, all of them, they just kept getting dumped by all these cool women, and I was like, maybe because he was just dull. You know what I mean? Like he was just movie stars turn out to be really quite dull.
Well, I think we found out so much about Johnny's childhood, and it was not good at all. It was rough. It was bad. Actually, if you listen to the beginning of when they were going through what he went through with his mother and her abusive way, and which started at a very young age for him, and I I can understand that, and it helped mold who he is today. And you can't. It's hard to break that. It's almost impossible a lot of times.
He would rather he walked away. He walked away from the situation, and all she did was follow him. He goes to a room, he locks himself in, and he lets things calm down. Whether it's 3 minutes, whether it's 3 hours, he lets things dry and calm down. But her, she can't. She has to escalate it and follow him and batter on doors and talk to me, Johnny. And she even admitted on tapes that Johnny recorded. Yes, I hit you. Yes, I start the violent relationships, because when you walk away, it makes it worse. Wait a minute, hen. No, walking away makes it better,
well,
because then it's not going to get violent.
In her view, though, she's being dissed. Don't you dare walk away from me. Right?
That's what something needs to be discussed. Something needs to be discussed, and they won't discuss it, and it's a brick wall, and it's infuriating. You don't know the side of it, but maybe something needed to be talked about.
Yeah, but if you're constantly hitting a brick wall with somebody, and somebody keeps saying, "I never said that, I didn't say that," that is the whole reason why Johnny started recording. Because he was sick and tired of them sitting in a conversation, whether it was with a marriage counsellor or a therapist or whatever, and her constantly saying, "I never said that, I never done that, I never said this, I never said that." So that's why he started recording the conversations, so that he could go back and say, "Well, listen to this. This is what happened last night in the argument," and then she would still blatantly deny it. "Well, that's not what I meant," and everything like that. So it was a constant circle, round and round and round and round they were going. So he decided to leave, So that was the best thing to do, and she still berated him for walking away. "Oh yes, Johnny, you're the decent man. You're the, you walk away." No, that's not how it is. Well, I'm sorry, but that is how it is. I've always heard, if you're going to get into an argument with somebody, it's better to walk away than to stand there and fight.
Reality Check shared this in the CTF text stream. I've got it on the screen, and I guess everybody's heard about this. And she had claimed that she had this Milani Cosmetics. Was it a compact or something that she had? Is that right? Yeah. She claimed that she had this at a certain date and time. And I don't know if everybody's heard this.
Her marriage.
Yeah.
It's all through her marriage with Johnny Depp. She's supposed herself had this compact that magically removes bruises and cuts and abrasions from the
So Melania comes back here recently. This is actually, I think, within the last week, right, Alice? Is that right?
Yeah.
So they say Johnny and Amber began dating in 2012, got married in 2015, divorced in 2017. But the makeup brand says the product didn't launch until 2017. Melania posted a video on TikTok with the caption, "You asked us. Let the record show that our correcting kit launched in 2017. There's another, hold on, let me get this other screenshot here. Darn it.
Yep, her lawyer's opening statement, she had the compact in her hand, and she said, "This is what Amber Heard used throughout her marriage to Johnny Depp to cover up the bruise."
I got the second one up here. It says, during her opening statements, Amber's lawyer showed Melania Cosmetics all-in-one correcting kit and said that the actress had it in her purse throughout her entire relationship with Johnny. Quote, "This was what she used. She became very adept at it. You're going to hear the testimony from Amber about how she had to mix the different colors for the different days of the bruises as they developed and the different coloring and how she would use to touch those up to be able to cover those," end quote. Her lawyer said.
You would think that her lawyer would have been wise enough to make sure this makeup was even around during the alleged incidents.
One would think. I've heard, we've all heard, there's a lot of phone calls and messages, and there's a couple that stick out. Of course, I haven't heard them all. I haven't followed it as close as what you guys have, but one that really interested me, and it really was a tell for me, probably one of the biggest tells of it all. When he had found out he had lost all this money, I guess he got wasted the night before, or drunk or whatever. Sure, I'm not even sure what time of the day this happened, but allegedly she comes into this kitchen area, and he's upset. He's bashing his own kitchen cabinets and so forth and so on. He's not coming towards her at all. She takes her phone, starts recording, sets it down, kind of sets some kind of alcohol bottle, wine or whatever, some kind of alcohol kind of in front of it. And he's walking around bashing shit, and it's really loud. And, it's towards his kitchen cabinets. It's pretty violent. Towards her, it's not violent at all, because she's clearly not afraid. If you're afraid in a situation like that or intimidated, you leave. You don't turn your phone on to record and stand around and have a conversation. What's going on? What's happening? What's wrong? What's wrong? Which she did. And then he's talking about different things, or saying certain things, not anything. I can't remember anything specific. He comes over to get a, what did they call it? A mega pint? Wasn't that the word?
Mega pint.
Yeah. What the hell, man?
Mega pint.
So he comes over to get this mega pint, big glass of wine, and she slides a bottle even more in front of the phone, trying to keep it secreted away. But eventually there he sees it. He picks it and he says, "Oh, you're recording me," or something of that nature. He grabs the phone, and I'm not exactly sure what happened. I don't know if he threw it or what, but she picked it back up.
It in the trash.
Okay, well, she picked it up and smirked in it at the end of the video.
Yeah.
How did he lose? What money are you talking about? How did he lose some money?
His accountant swindled £650 million off him, Christina.
And on top of that, he didn't pay Johnny's federal income taxes for like 17 years.
Wow.
Yep. So, and that was on the morning, and she was trying to say that she had a shit morning, and he's like, "Really? You've had a shit morning? I don't fucking think so. And that's why he's slamming the cupboards and everything like that. I mean, that video is either that's when he found out the £650 million was stolen from him, or it's the morning, the day after. I think his mum died on the 20th, and this was the 21st.
It may have been. It may have been his mother. It may have been his mother. May have been his mother passed away. But I'm curious. Has he been able to recoup any part of that money at all?
Not sure, Jack. I haven't really seen much about that because it's all about being about this shit with fucking turd face.
Right.
So, but yeah, I mean, I'm not sure whether it's been resolved or not. But to lose that amount of money anyway, you know what I mean, with somebody who you were supposed to trust, you know, it's going to be bad enough, and she's trying to secretly record him, you know, hiding the camera and everything like that.
Right.
She wasn't scared of him. She antagonised him. No wonder he turned to fucking mere drinking drugs. You know, he actually asked her. He was wanting to, while he was detoxing, he asked her if she would stop drinking along with him to try and help with him with the process. She said no.
Let's see what we've got going on in the chat while we've been chatting here. Oh, so you had to hide someone there. Somebody following you around?
Yeah, it was Luke Mitchell. I've had him on my chat and all, Jack. So I've just hidden him because he came in and he was like, "Hello, cuntos," you know. So I was like, "No, you're gone. Bye."
Yeah, you know what?
Yeah,
it's interesting.
Now McDonald's is coming in and you know what, and I'm cool with that. If somebody truly is supportive of Amber Heard, go ahead and show your support.
Yeah.
Be respectful about it, you know, because we don't want to, you know, tell people that they can't, you know, have their own opinions. We want people to have their own opinions. And so, you know what, McDonald's, as long as you're being respectful, you can support Amber Heard here. We're fine.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's right.
Do it with respect. Good. That's awesome. Good for you, McDonald's. Yeah, so we're all good with that.
Absolutely. Well, you know, again, for me, this is I'm kind of like what Sapricop said earlier. I kind of hate to see this kind of thing. These people are really rich. You know, they live in a different world than we do. It's just
world, yeah.
Absolutely, it's totally different. You know, their life is. They don't have to look at their life the way we have to look at our life because we're just regular people, regular plebs. They're ultra rich plebs.
I mean, that's fair enough, Jack, but it shouldn't be right for anybody to come out and say lies about anybody, whether you're rich, poor, or semi-rich. You know what I mean? For somebody to come out and say that, especially for a woman to come out and say that a man abused them physically, sexually, or whatever, and for it not to be true.
Yeah,
you know,
it hurts the movement is what it does. It hurts the true victims of domestic violence. You know, it's not good for them because it's hard to, you know, because then people start thinking, well, crap, you know, Amber Heard said that she was sexually assaulted and physically abused by Johnny Depp, but you know, she turned out to be a liar. So, you know, it makes it hard for people to believe women when we're just now getting to the point with the Me Too movement where we were gaining that support. But now you get somebody like Amber Heard or any other woman for that. I mean, I have that same example in my own family where a former daughter-in-law accused one of my sons of the same sorts of things. Well, not sexual violence, but anyway, you know, and so you know, it hurts the movement for the women who truly are victims of domestic violence, and that's a big part of it for me.
Well,
Yeah, but not always.
there's no consistency in the movement itself or in the media or anywhere else, because you have, for instance, Hillary Clinton came out when her husband Bill was being accused of all that harassment and rape and stuff, and she came out and literally went after the victims.
Right.
And she put a huge case against all of them, tore them up in the media and all of that, and then you have the whole shit show with Brett Kavanaugh. They marched this lady in there that, can't even remember a single actual detail of anything. And they paint her as the poster child of the Me Too movement, and she couldn't tell a single truth. And then you have all those accusations came out about Joe Biden, and the media completely ignored them. And they were the ones, hollering about believe women. But then when it was against somebody that they supported, they completely ignore it. So we've created this environment where it's pick and choose. We'll believe her, but we won't believe her. And it's terrible.
Yeah, and using something like but like using something like the Johnny like Amber Heard. This is what I'm that it could really just undo a lot of things. Like, yes, everybody's got the capacity to be an abusive asshole. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter if you're male or female or whatever. Like, everybody has. But just, as I said, I'd like to see how it falls out for this, in a way, because that's just the perfect excuse to go, well, it didn't work anyway, believe nobody. You know what I mean?
But not even that. It's not just women, though, Disco. You know what I mean? It's also men. I mean,
I'm fully aware of that. That's what I mean. Yes.
You know what I mean? And when somebody like Amber Heard is bringing out accusations like this against somebody and it's not true, how is a male who has gone through domestic violence going to be able to come forward and say, look, I suffered domestic violence by my partner? They're not going to want to, because they're not going to get believed, because the woman gets believed over what the man does. You know what I mean? And it's not right. It just isn't right. It should be equal for both. If a man is coming forward saying that they're suffering domestic violence, it should be taken seriously. It should be investigated properly. Not just for somebody to come out in a movement and say, oh, so-and-so assaulted me, or so-and-so assaulted me, whether they're male or female, and it be taken at that word. You know what I mean? And then everybody's jumping on the bandwagon. The media or whoever are jumping on that bandwagon. You know what I mean? It's going to prevent anybody from coming forward, whether you're male or female. You know what I mean? Because that's what she's done.
Well, and not only that,
it's not Amber Heard's fault, right? This is what I'm trying to say, that Johnny Depp doesn't feel like he can come forward, and good that he is coming forward. But then I'm just worried about this fallout for her, Amber Heard being the poster girl for any man to just react to. What we know is, a more abusive per partner to male female. Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't get equality overnight like that. It doesn't happen, but it seems to be happening this way. I'm just mindful of that, because Johnny Depp has every right to come forward. But saying that, he can't come forward, well, that's not women's fault. It's kind of men's fault. They've orchestrated that situation.
No, but she actually turned around and says to him, though, Dark Side, go on, Johnny, go out there and tell a judge and tell a jury and tell the people that I, Johnny Depp, are a victim of domestic violence, and see who believes you. You know what I mean? That's wrong, because she knew that for a fact that she would be believed far over than what Johnny Depp would be believed, and it's no right.
Well,
that's
the
kind
other.
of what I was talking.
Yeah, go ahead,
Jack. No, you go.
No. I was just going to say, to me, and briefly, and I know this seems unfair me saying it, and I don't mean it in an unfair way, because there are other situations it's also unfair. But when a woman comes out and says that a guy has assaulted her or raped her or sexually assaulted her, it creates a whole nother thing. And it's really difficult for the guy to shake that, right? And I think we all see that. And I'm not talking about real stuff. I'm talking about a girl gets mad at someone and wants revenge because she might really like this person or whatever. There's a million different reasons.
Look at the Duke lacrosse case. That's a big one.
Oh my God,
Yes.
that was awful.
Exactly.
But
Yeah,
go ahead, Sam.
Those kids, those guys' lives are still ruined, even though it was proven that she was full of crap. Same. I mentioned Brett Kavanaugh earlier. Same thing with him. Even now, people are still saying, "Well, he's just a rapist," when there was not a single piece of evidence ever presented that anything that any of those women said ever happened. So that's the stigma that mainly men have to try to contend with, is when these accusations come out, you're done, and most of the time you're never going to recover, no matter what you do. No matter, you can prove it in court, all of this, but you're done, because there's going to be an element of society that is going to forever paint you as whatever that was. And that's, again, I mentioned Kavanaugh. That's what he's still dealing with. He will forever be known as a rapist, even though he never was. And same thing with the Duke lacrosse players. And I know women have to deal with it to a certain extent too, but most of the time that stigma never sticks to a woman like it does to a man.
Well, the other side for women, the other side of that is something does happen. They go report it. They don't get fucking believed. And this person, I'm not talking about I'm not accusing like a Brett Kavanaugh. I'm talking about like a real criminal. They get away with it because they're not believed, or because somebody's high school football star or whatever. There are a million different reasons why they say, "Oh, he's a great guy. He'd never do anything like that. You're crazy. Get out of here." Or they take a report and they just they don't do anything with it because they won't believe this person is actually capable of sexually assaulting this girl. And so that's the other side of it, which creates, again, that goes off into another direction. So I think personally, when we have that situation that I just talked about, that's definitely a criminal matter. But what do we do when men and women accuse each other of things they're just making shit up? They get in trouble legally. Somebody goes to jail or gets charged or whatever. What happens? And then it comes out that it was a false accusation. It was untrue. There are very few prosecutors who will actually go out and charge someone and really pursue that. They just won't do it. It does happen, but it's not very often.
Yeah, it's rare.
No. Yeah, but the thing is though, I mean, Johnny, every partner that Johnny has been with, I mean, he was with Vanessa Paradis for 15, 20 years, something like that, and they were never married, but they were still together. They've all came out and said that
He's not
never violent.
He's not violent.
You know what I mean? He's never had a record for violence. He's never been arrested.
He went out with who was it? Kate Moss, Winona Ryder, Juliette Lewis, somebody else. And then obviously years later. But I remember that as a slew where they were all very cool women. They were all into drugs as well. They were living the lifestyle, and they just it seems to be no animosity, or bad blood or whatever, but just moved on to other people. They didn't maintain relationships. There's been no negative thing about them. And I just get the vibe that he seems really lovely in that, but maybe he's just a bit. And maybe Amber Heard looks not evolved. There is a big age difference in that.
There is.
And I think to myself, Johnny, you're 50. You should fucking know better, eh? You haven't went out with some crazy, or not some crazy people, but you know what I mean.
There's another thing here too that she demanded that he go get sobriety. No drinking, no drugs, blah blah blah, but she's still bringing in gallons and gallons of wine and whatever, and she wants her drugs for her and her friends. doing it right in front of him, but she's demanding that he not do it. There's something.
I must say that, like, it's a weird crossover, but like my favorite stand-up was talking about like Johnny Depp really likes Doug Stanhope, and apparently invited him and Bingo, his wife at the time, over to stay with them on an island for about a week or a weekend, and he talks about it being very uncomfortable, and Doug has seen all kinds of stretches of society, you know what I mean? He doesn't phase easily, but I get the sense, I must listen to the book actually, because I think it's that, but I think he just hinted at like it was just very toxic, you know?
So
it was fine when she wasn't around, but when she was around it was not good.
Here's something interesting. Johnny Depp was Amber Heard's first famous relationship. So prior to Johnny Depp, Amber Heard was used to being the it in the couple, right? The pretty person, the famous person, the hot one. Yet, I'm going to tell you right now, when you date Johnny Depp, you're in the presence of greatness, right? As far as Hollywood people are concerned. It's Johnny Depp.
He's a fantastic actor. He's so good.
Beautiful person, like, to look at. He is well renowned for his field. So Amber Heard is someone who was young, because I think that she was 23 when they started dating. And here she is with a guy who, and she's used to being drooled after and put on a pedestal, but she's with Johnny Depp, who everyone drools after and puts on a pedestal. It probably was a big ego deflator for her to have to contend with him, right? Like, to be paired with him, walking into a room, she wasn't who the camera was wanting to photograph. They were wanting Johnny Depp.
Well, even if they were, it was more geared towards him than it was to her. Yes, definitely. I'm sure there's an ego thing there that you're talking about. Yeah, I get it. Mm-hmm.
Well, and let's not pretend that people in Hollywood don't date each other or even sometimes marry each other just to further their own goals. It
Absolutely.
has nothing to do with the other person. It's the connections and all of that. So that comes into account too. I'm sure she probably saw Johnny as a cash cow and as somebody who could get her into bigger circles to get bigger roles, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, that's exactly what happened, Snapper, because she got the Aquaman role. You know what I mean? She was in famous movies and everything like that.
She got something before that too, and I can't remember what it was.
It was the Rum Diaries. She done the Rum Diaries.
Yeah,
but
that's
Johnny
right.
Depp was in the Rum Diaries, so that's how she got a part in the Rum Diaries. She didn't get that over in Accord.
I thought that's like that.
Does anybody?
Yeah, that's where.
Hey, Allison,
that's when they met.
Allison, Disco, and you other ladies, can anyone here talk intelligently about the trial in the UK? Because I don't really know anything about it.
Oh, the UK trial.
The UK trial was a shit show, Jack. The judge was biased because it knew.
What was the basis of the trial? Was she claiming that he assaulted her? What was the?
Yes, she claimed physical abuse.
No. The UK trial was nothing really to do with Amber Heard. The UK trial was Johnny Depp suing the Sun newspaper because they plastered on the front page of the newspaper that he was a wife beater. She was only there as a witness. She was only a witness at that trial. It wasn't her that was on trial. It wasn't her and Johnny that was on trial. It was Johnny suing the Sun newspaper. No, they didn't win. because the judge didn't take into account the police videos or the cameras or anything like that. He just took her word for it and her witnesses' words for it. That was it, Darkside. And the judge was biased as well. And the judge even came out and said at that trial that his obligation was to believe her. That was
Now,
it. So there
was another aspect of that I heard probably, I don't know, 3-4 days ago, that during that UK trial, somehow Johnny released, they got everything. These other attorneys got everything from his attorneys or however, whatever, text messages, videos, blah, 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 these audio calls, whatever. And very little came from Anber at all. They wouldn't. So I'm not exactly sure what that's about, if anybody knows.
No, I think that's mostly this trial, is it no, Jack? Because the stuff that she's handed over is corrupt. But then if she's corrupted the stuff to hand over in this case, I wouldn't be surprised she corrupted stuff to hand over in the UK case at all.
That's what I'm saying. A lot of the stuff came from that's what these, I don't remember which YouTuber I was watching, but that's what they were saying, that they had the Johnny's lawyers and somehow everything, all his material got turned over during the UK trial, and some of that material is now being used in this trial.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like text messages and things like that. That he calls her a C, and he did a comment for the Monty Python about burning her and putting her in the boot of a car and stuff like that. So all these messages and everything like that have came out in this trial. But there was a lot in the UK trial that her witnesses and that lied about, because her lawyers in this trial are using things that happened in the UK trial to impeach people in this trial. But they're not doing a very good job yet, because the things that were said in the UK trial that they're trying to impeach on have been exactly said in this trial, but maybe no exact word for word.
Right.
But it's meant the same, you know. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff that went wrong in the UK trial, but it wasn't Amber Heard versus Johnny Depp or Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard. It was Johnny Depp versus the Sun newspaper.
Right.
When you try and sue a newspaper here in the UK, it is impossible. Because just take Princess Diana's case, for instance. When she done her 1995 interview for Panorama, in the interview that she said that there was 3 of us in this marriage. What they had done, they bugged her phones, they showed fake documents to her brother to get him to get her to do this interview, and for years and years and years she said that she feels that she's being watched, she's being listened to, that she's being spied on, and then 25 years later it came out that yes, they did bug her phones, they were listening into her conversations, they did fake documents and things like that, and that's only just came out. So it can take that length of time to prove that a news media outlet here in the UK to be sued.
Wow, that's
or
terrible.
anything
God,
like that.
God, that's terrible.
Yeah, they think that they can get away with anything. I think the only one that actually won like a defamation sort of a case here in the UK with the newspapers and the news media was Sir Cliff Richards, because somebody had came out and said that they were sexually assaulted by Cliff Richards, and the papers had helicopters and everything like that flying over his house. He was plastered all over the media and everything like that. And then I think it was a couple of years later, the guy that made the accusations came out and said that he lied about the whole situation. So Cliff Richard took the papers and the publications to court, and he actually won. But he is the only one, and God knows how long, that I know of that has actually won against a newspaper outlet here in the UK.
Wow. There was a round the other day, and
No, there were some. There were payments after all that. You know, with Sarah Payne and News of the World having their phone and stuff. Like I think that they have to give some reparations to them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because they bugged people's phones for years.
Yeah, no, I mean, but that was like the phone of a missing child that had turned up dead, and then they bugged it for like 2 years afterwards.
Wow.
Oh, there's just like that's what I mean. You talk about these.
Yeah.
We're calling them red tops here, like just the scum. Like the British press are renowned for being just some of the worst in the world.
Wow. There was an exchange the other day. Heard's lawyers were questioning someone, and he objected to his own question.
Yeah,
Did y'all hear? Did y'all see that?
Yeah, I think I posted that in the Johnny Depp room.
That's how I saw it. I followed your link. That's hilarious.
Elaine's argued with the judge, tried to argue with the judge as well, Jack. She asked the question, and because she didn't like the answer that she was getting, she stopped that and she asked another question. So Johnny's lawyer stood up and objected to it, and the judge sustained it. And she's like, "Oh, but that's not come under that. That's under bias, does it? No." And the judge just went, "Sustained."
Move on. Yeah. Yeah, she's gotten aggravated a few times. Well, that's another thing that Elaine did, and I actually had a little post there in the Depp room on Discord about what she tried to do with that Dr. Curry. She tried to make it like there was a romantic interlude there between Johnny and this doctor. Oh my God. So you went over to have dinner and drinks. Oh my God. She kept doing that too. It was terrible.
That was funny. That was funny as though, Jack, when she was like, "But you went to Mr. Depp's house. You had dinner with Mr. Depp.
Dinner and
you
drink.
were drinking alcohol."
Yeah.
She says, "Well, yeah." She says, "I was there with his legal team. Not Mr. Depp. I was there with his legal team. We had dinner, and normally with dinner, I have a drink. So if you're saying dinner and drinks, then yes, I had dinner with a drink."
Yeah, she would take no shit off her at all. Which
no.
Now what about Now what about this? Yeah, Muffin Gate. What about this?
Muffin Gate.
What about this friend of Amber's, Eva? The one, didn't she want to got her ass thrown out?
Yeah, Eva Barlow. Eve Barlow.
Oh.
She was texting and posting on Twitter
during trial.
Passing notes during trial. Yes, during the trial.
Yeah.
Not only that, she was passing notes to Anber, but they also got Johnny's one of Johnny's main witnesses kicked off the stand for a post that she put up on Twitter, which was in 2021, not 2022, and they had cut off the bottom of the date.
Yeah, check wasn't that an Instagram post? I think it was. I think it was Instagram.
Yeah, it was either Instagram or it was Twitter, but they chopped off the bottom where it was timed and the date and everything like that, and they tried to make out that she had posted it during this trial. So what happened there was they brought it to the judge's attention, and the judge actually asked Gina herself, "Have you seen anything about this trial?" And she went, "Yes, I've seen snippets." So as soon as she admitted to that, that was it. She was off. She was off the stand. She was out the courtroom, no matter what, because she admitted. And she just said, "No, for this trial of her, then she might have been able to stay on the stand. But because they made out that she made this post for this trial, which it wasn't, it was for the UK trial that she put this post up, then that's why she got kicked off the stand. Because she was there and she told them that Amber Heard is the one that gave her MDMA. It was Amber Heard that was the one that was into the drugs and everything like that. So they tried to get her off because she was a good witness, and they done it. They actually done it. And there's somebody, I think it's the Umbrella guy or something like that, has actually slowed down the video, and you see that once she's been kicked off the stand, Eve Barlow winks at Elaine to say, "I've done a good job, haven't I?" So yeah, lots of shady shit going on with Amber's side.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hey, what did Rhonda share here? What is this, Rhonda? She put in a Johnny Depp room. You want me to put that up on the screen?
Is it? Oh, the 6 degrees is, yeah. Yeah, that would be great.
Okay, just a second.
It's a diagram basically of the connections in the UK trial between Johnny, what Johnny had to present, and then what the connections are on the Sun's scandalous.
Wow, that is so convoluted. Oh my god. I'm just kind of looking at this, trying to follow this plot around here.
Yeah, it's well, it's
Dan Wooten is the reporter who wrote the piece for the Sun at the time.
and there's
He
this
was
like
a
there's this like connection between Elon Musk and Rupert or Murdoch rather, and all of the different players on the Sun side with the connections. Oh yeah, Rupert Murdoch and all of that, and how it all fits together with the judge in that case, not just with Amber's side, but with the judge that can, gives a pretty unsavory look at how the judge was biased in that case. So yeah, it was pretty because if you look, it's just got Johnny Depp in the article, and then Johnny Depp's attorney, and then it shows Dan Wooten, how he managed to get everything connected to the judge on that side it was just ridiculous. It just looked so obvious that the judge was biased.
Yeah, Robert Palmer works at Talk Radio, employs Dan Wooten. Dan Wooten wrote the article for the Sun that connects Amber Heard, and then the rest of them are all basically Amber Heard.
Yeah.
So yeah, the UK trial biased as hell.
But now the UK trial ended in 2018. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
And there's
the thing that's funny is that the Amber's team are using the UK trial transcripts to try to, go against Johnny when there's clear and implicit bias from the judge in that UK trial.
I don't even see how they can legally bring it in. Has this judge allowed that?
Yes. Well, and the defense, Johnny's team hasn't. I mean, they've objected to a lot of the things, but things have been allowed anyway. So, I it seems like hearsay to me, but I mean, I don't know if hearsay is the right word. Anyway, it's a rough thing. The whole damn thing is just fucking crazy.
Yeah, I see that. I mean, this trial, the UK trial, the way this is all connected here is absolutely insane. Wow.
Yep.
And Rupert, and I don't know if it says it on that chart right there, but Rupert Murdoch sits on. Let's see, Elon Musk
He
and
owns
Rupert
the Sun.
Murdoch. Yeah, they're Elon Musk is involved in there somewhere too with the Sun. So, come on.
I don't see Elon in here, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah, what is the connection? I can't remember, Alice, how the connection goes between Elon Musk and Rupert Murdoch and the Sun. I think Rupert Murdoch sits on the board. No, one of the others sits on the other's board.
Yeah, it's something like that.
It says owned by Wireless Group, News Corp, and Rupert Murdoch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
I'll have to look for
Elon Musk. I think is it today with Elon Musk? Is he not on one of the boards? Has news outlets in America.
Right.
Yeah, that I don't know. Probably. Interesting.
The name of the YouTube channel. I watched every one of his videos. It's epic. He's really good. Actually, I might have it pinned in the room. But he really breaks down, and he started this about 3 years ago, doing the his YouTube channel on breaking down this case, and from when it started several years ago. And it's I can't remember what his doggone name is. He just has little cartoon people that he uses and stuff, but
something average, is it? No, average.
Yeah,
something
average somebody. Yeah. So I mean, it might all be silly to some people and whatever, and I get it, and that's fine, but it really comes down to what the damage that it does to really to women, and men when it comes to speaking out against domestic violence and sexual assault and all those things.
Right, integrity,
It's a huge disservice.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree with that. It hurts the whole movement to correct a lot of wrongs that have been done.
For anybody. Yeah, for anybody, Jack. You know what I mean? For any man or woman that is going through domestic violence right now and can't see a way out, this case is proving their point, because even if somebody who is as famous as what they are can be accused of domestic violence and not be believed, or be the abuser of domestic violence and lie about it, you know what I mean? And it goes that way, then how is your average Joe, me or you, who are maybe going through domestic violence, ever going to think that it's all right to come forward?
That's when all this came out. I think he was on the. He got asked to resign from Fantastic Beasts. He was also his role in Pirate 6 was slashed and then cut. And you could tell he was pissed at Disney because, they're still making a ton of money off him. All the rides are still up, all the merchandise is still up. The movies are still on the Disney Channel. So
Yeah, they tried to tell him that he couldn't dress up because yourself, he dresses up as Jack Sparrow and he goes to hospitals with sick kids.
Yep.
And everything like that. They tried to tell him that he wasn't allowed to do that, and he basically told them to fuck off. He's like, I created Jack Sparrow, so I'm going to use it whether you want me to or no. And good on him.
Well, they're still making millions of dollars a year off of the Pirates, and that's him. That's Jack.
But, I mean, her lawyers are that petty though, Jack, that when he was on the stand, and they were, because I think the new he's in talks with for Pirate 6, because basically says, look, a character like that, and I was near enough greeting when I heard this, but he said a character like that needs to have an ending. You know what I mean? He needs to go out with a bang and things like that. So he's now back in talks, I think, with Disney. Finish Pirates.
Well, I mean, I think that's only right. That's only the right thing to do, right?
Yeah, but when all this kicked off, he made a statement. I wouldn't go back to Disney if they offered me £6 million and 300 alpacas, a pack of alpacas. You know what I mean?
He was pissed.
But her lawyers actually brought that up to him in the court. But Mr. Depp, you're going on about Pirates fans, but is it not true that you said that you wouldn't do another Pirates for £6 million and 300 alpacas? And he had a wee chuckle at himself, and he was like, I say that, you know what I mean? Well, what else, you know? And that's how petty that they're trying to be. And it's just ridiculous.
It is. It really is. Well, I hope it. I mean, I think that no matter how this goes and turns out at the end, you know, he's gotten his side out, and it to me, it's at least that part of it's a win. I don't know that he can actually win the case but I don't know. The jury. I don't know. Maybe they'll really look at this really close. I hope they do and pay attention to what is actually transpired and what these lawyers for Anber have tried to pull in the courtroom right in front of them. I mean, that stuff with Eva, I watched that and I found out what she had done. I'm like, what the? Are you kidding me?
Yep. Yep. But that's it. There's dirty tactics for them, Jack.
Oh my God.
Because she didn't want this to be publicized. She didn't want all these details to be out there. But you know what I mean? Why not? I'm sorry, if you're as much a victim as what you're making out to be, and he actually did do what you're saying, prove it. Show it. You know, apparently she had 2 black eyes, a broken nose, broken rib. But in the UK trial and in this trial, there is no, and I mean no, medical evidence to the fact that she had no x-rays, a broken nose, no x-rays, a broken ribs, nothing. But there is pictures out there of her laughing and giggling with a clear face. She was on the James Corden show. Not a bruise on it. They're trying to say that the makeup artist done a good job of covering the bruises. No way, because she's supposed to have been battered off the fridges, cupboards, worktops, everything, you know. But yet she's doing photo shoots where she's bending all sorts of ways and everything like that. She's on the James Corden show and she's bouncing about the chair and everything like that. I'm sorry, if you've got broken ribs, anybody who's had broken ribs knows that it is impossible to breathe, laugh, cough, you know what I mean, give a or whatever. It is agony, you know what I mean? But she's bouncing about Jane Corden's show like nothing ever happened, you know what I mean? And it's unbelievable what she has came out and said. But she didn't want this trial to happen. Why? Because she knew her lies were going to be found out, and it's coming back to bite her in the ass.
Yeah. Hey, Rhonda, did you share that link to that you put in the Johnny Depp room to that YouTuber?
Yes, I did. I put it in the chat.
Thank you. Yeah, I was actually.
Average.
Yeah, I've watched several of his videos. I like them.
Yeah, you go all the way down to the bottom. I think there's like 14 or 15 of them, and you go back to where he started in like 3 years ago. I just watched him from where he started all the way up to where he's ended. And I follow him on Twitter, and he really, really, really does a good job. And they're only like, for the most part, 20 and 30-minute videos. There is one that's over an hour. And then there's one that's like 40 minutes, but they are, if you don't believe Johnny before, when you watch these factual videos, you really go. It will make you think twice if you're not already a supporter.
Yeah, I need to go back and watch some of his older videos from 3 years ago because I'm now really interested. I mean,
Yeah, well, yeah, because he kind of jumps around a little bit, but it's where I gained really most of my knowledge from on the case was watching his videos.
Yeah.
Because it's an absolute factual timeline of the occurrences from 3 years ago to, well, he's going to start again now that the trial's underway. He's super busy, but he's going to trying to add to them again, from where he left off and covering the trial as well. So I'm really excited for that, but I highly recommend watching them.
Sweet. Okay, Christina, where did Christina run off to? Is she off making us lunch?
Here.
We need a snack.
I'm here. Yeah, that's funny y'all are talking about food. I was just thinking. Yeah, are we you're gonna do a separate video for the Colburn stuff, right? So that when people search for it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think we've covered a good amount today, and I'm happy with it. If y'all are.
Yeah, the Colburn stuff. There's I think 18 files that Cherie sent me. I mean, because we're not going to read all. Well, 4 or 5 of them. There's nothing on them. It's really, really weird. They've redacted the entire thing. And I'll show a couple of them, but they're all the same. Really weird. But yeah, we're going to do a separate video here. It looks like it's 2:30. It's 2:30 Central, so a couple hours. I'll change the time, Rhonda. I'll move it forward 30 minutes so more of the Depp trial can be watched before we start.
That's always good. I did want to lead this with Amber Heard named her daughter Unog Paige Heard. And Unog is Irish for lamb or one. And I find that such an odd name for her to name her child.
It is. That is really weird. Yeah. I mean, to me it is.
Elon Musk and Grimes named their kids X and Y.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, they're rich and famous anyway. But I'm not a big fan of her using a surrogate, personally.
Well,
she said it was a power move.
There was no way she was going to damage her body.
So she had an egg implanted, and hired a surrogate to carry the child for her.
Yeah.
No, she had Elon Musk's sperm.
Well, we don't know about that. Like,
and hers together is what I understand.
Yeah. Isn't he married with kids?
Yes.
Elon Musk has been in a lot of relationships. He's got lots of kids. I think 8 or 9 kids from different women. 9? Okay. Yeah, so he's not quite wholesome.
I did not know that.
Yeah. I was surprised to learn how many kids he has, but I have 6, so what can I say?
I got 5.
To be fair, neither was Martin Luther King, but.
Well, that's true. He's saying Martin Luther King wasn't entirely wholesome, but I mean, I get that. We're all fractured to some degree.
Right.
I was just surprised to find out that I thought he had like 2 or 3 kids with a wife. Then that was it. That's really interesting that she got a surrogate to carry her egg and his sperm to have the baby.
Yeah.
Well, that's all about Hollywood image, Yeah. I think somebody mentioned she didn't want to ruin her body.
She said that it was a power move, that she could do it, and still be a mother without that. Like, my friend knows a lot more about it. She does sound dreadful. Taking the dogs and the surrogacy mother thing, and now the, being crappy to the workers has come out. She doesn't rate high in my book, but I don't like the witch hunt, if you know what I mean.
And I guess if there was some medical reason for her to do that, I guess I could more understand it.
That's what I thought too.
But apparently, I mean, as far as I know, she's healthy and normal. There would be no medical reason.
Just got
yeah, but it was a witch hunt with Johnny, though. It was a witch hunt with Johnny because everybody jumped on the bandwagon with him as well. So to say it's a witch hunt for her, you have to say it's a witch hunt for Johnny as well. Because for 2018, for when she done that op-ed until now, she's done nothing but chase after him, broke the restraining order and everything like that by turning up at his flat, stripping naked and getting into his bed. You know what I mean? But yet she's supposed to be terrified there.
She did what?
Yes, Jack.
In the context, this is somebody who's had, a string of, he's a movie star. Do you know what I mean? And he's had a string of women that seem to be non-abusive relationships, pretty permanent, And he's 50, and he goes and, marries somebody nearly half his age, and, she's not. She is a grown adult, but seems like a poor choice in a lot of ways, and I'm not like trying to discredit her as well, but I don't know what was. It seemed to be a very brief and stormy relationship, but the fallout, seems to be. If she's seeing, well, I don't know. She loves a crazy amount of attention, a crazy amount. This is not looking good for her.
No, it certainly is not. But yes, Jack, that's what she did. She broke the restraining order. She passed messages through the talent agent to get to Johnny, and he was on the stand yesterday, and he admitted to it that she broke the restraining order, wanted to break the restraining order, and she turned up at his house, stripped naked, got into his bed, and Johnny basically went, "Are you fucking stupid? I'm not going there. Get the fuck out."
Wow, that is nuts. I did not know that. Wow.
Yep.
This case just keeps on giving, just like the other case that we're neck deep.
It certainly does. It keeps giving out the juicy bits, and it's not good for her at all.
Not good for anyone.
And like I said,
there is definitely, a lot of voyeurism to this case. I mean, I personally didn't know there was going to be this much interest in it, and I just wanted to follow it because I wasn't sure about Johnny in the beginning. A year ago, I was like, man, this really sucks. Kind of like with Will Smith slapping Chris Rock. I was so fucking disappointed in Will Smith. I still am. And I was kind of that way about Johnny as well, because all I had seen was what I was seeing in the media and on Twitter, and which is the worst thing to do. But that's why I wanted to watch this case. I thought, no, I want to find out the truth about what's really going on here. I had no idea when I started looking into it how much was involved.
I didn't either.
Crazy.
I was blown away by all the recordings that she's done secretly, and it's just crazy. Anyway.
Yeah, the Will Smith situation, I think, was a wake-up call for a lot of people, because you would have never imagined that Will Smith could have been manipulated the way he has been.
Right.
And I mean, he's not like Johnny Depp. He's not abused, at least not physically, but this strange relationship that him and Jada have, more to Jada's benefit than anything, was essentially the driver of what happened at the Oscars. That was just Will snapping.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, I completely agree with you, Zapper. They both of them laughed the joke, and because she done that face that she done, that's when Will Smith took the hump and was like, "Oh shit, I better say something, or I better do something." He should have said something rather than do something, but he did something and went up and slapped him. And it's now
He only went up and slapped him because that was the funniest thing, and he hasn't said anything funny in years.
And then the thing that sucks about it is that after the slap, Jada went public, I think on her Red Table Talk show, that she was mad, or maybe not mad, but disappointed that he did that. He's like, I don't need him to stand up for me. I can take care of myself. I can I go up and do that to Chris Rock. And I was like, you bitch.
Yeah,
know?
I mean,
comedy is coming. I'll tell you that. The death of comedy is coming. You can't say fuck all. Can't joke anymore.
No, you can't say anything until somebody getting offended. When somebody is completely innocuous, they don't mean it. They're kidding. They're not. They're poking fun at a situation to create a laugh, and everybody's just, I don't know, just like it's just overly sensitive about everything.
That's what culture has ruined our society.
I mean, some things are just funny, but
just let them be funny.
It's funny, yeah, and that's the end of it. It's like it's funny, and you're a really terrible person, or you're less than a person. It's not that at all, and I don't understand how this has gotten to the stage it has. It's just crazy.
And the thing of it is that's what Chris Rock does. That's his routine is jokes about real people and whether they're celebrities or his family or somebody on the street that he happened to come in contact. That's what Chris Rock does. And so for her to be all meh about it was just ridiculous. But I'm not her, so I don't know. But the whole thing was just a mess.
Remember the Dean Martin roast? Remember the Dean Martin roast in the 70s, and they would absolutely destroy each other. And
tear each other up.
But I was just a kid, and I'd be in the floor with tears in my eyes, laughing because it didn't mean anything. It was just funny.
Ricky Gervais was making jokes when he was hosting the Oscars. It's not like it's Ricky Gervais.
Oh, yeah.
He roasted the hell out of them.
Yeah.
Nobody got up and smacked him.
Yeah, but it's the way it got twisted round, though. You know what I mean? He was saying about G.I. Jane because G.I. Jane shaved her head. You know what I mean? But the way they twisted it round, because she had a medical condition, alopecia. Yeah. Well, how is Rock meant to know, especially if he doesn't know, because apparently it was all public and everything like that. Well, I didn't know Jada Pinkett Smith had alopecia.
Neither did I. I had no idea.
Yeah, unless Chris Rock is following Mr. Will Smith or Jada Pinkett Smith herself, how is he going to know whether it was a medical condition or no? He was just commenting on her bald head. Nothing to do with alopecia, anything like that, you know what I mean? So it's all been taken out of context, in my opinion. And if she hadn't made that face to Will Smith, I don't think that would have ever happened because the both of them laughed.
Yeah, it was just ridiculous.
Yep, I agree. All right, Sunshine, back to you.
I guess that's about it, really. I'm glad we had this chat. We haven't all got together and chatted in a while, so I enjoyed.
Really great news about Melissa. I hope I hope it leads to. Yeah, I hope it leads to a new trial, a new whatever, and all this other shit can be told as it should have been years ago. And this trial she gets out. Mm-hmm. So we'll see.
Me too.
Another trial I will be glued to if there is a new trial and if it gets televised, I'll be on it. We all will, I'm sure.
Yeah. And I'm just, I'm grateful that her execution was stayed. I just want to see it. I want to see her completely exonerated because she's living her life in a cage away from other human contact. And like Darlie Routier, I think about her a lot when I Melissa's case. I think about Darlie's case. That's another woman who was scandalized in the media, made out to be someone she wasn't, and has literally wasted her entire life being treated as someone not safe enough to be around other human beings, when the reality is the men who put them there are the real animals. You know, and I'm not saying that because it's all men's fault. I'm just saying it because that's who the person is responsible for them being on death row, right? Are these men who we hold to high esteem, who the media has made out to be these very ethical and moral people. And the reality is they're, you know, anything but.
Right.
And they could very well kill innocent women. They're Bob Macy. They're Bob Macy reincarnated. That's all they are. They're nasty people who use the legal system to 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 dehumanize women for political and financial gain. And
Or
it's
as
just
and as I call him on Rhonda show, Bloodthirsty Bob.
yeah. You know,
Yeah.
and, you know, and Richard Glossop, he's another one. I mean, he has literally spent 5 years now on death row for because another guy, Justin Sneed, was told by officers, if you name someone, you don't die. So he
Yeah.
named Richard. That's exactly why Richard Glossop's on death row.
Yep.
And it's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting that these people are rotting away in prison. If you've ever visited someone in prison, you know that even guilty, it's hell on earth. But I'm innocent. Could you imagine being innocent and waking up every day to that kind of suffering? It's no wonder the suicide rate's so high in prison.
Right.
You know, and then to be innocent on top of that, it's just unbelievable.
Well, you know, we see this effect, you know, with this last couple of letters. I mean, I think they should remain private. That's me, but that Stephen wrote. He's really frustrated. He's trapped in a cage and can't do anything, and that frustration eventually is going to boil over, and it did. You know.
Well, and I think for Stephen Avery, his mom's passing, his dad, you know, his dad's health.
I can't convey that enough to the matriarch, just from personal experience, like that, how it can dissolve a family.
Sure.
Like, she was holding that whole thing together, and he has not being able to go to the funeral kind of broke my heart, and I had to take a break for a while because, like, Luke Mitchell got to go to his mum's funeral or his grandmother's funeral, you know, and things like that. But I just thought that's also a punishment, you know. So I really don't like the letters to read them, but I understand. What would you do? He's lost his mom and he can't do anything about it.
The only weapon he has is a letter. That's it. That's his weapon.
Yep.
You know, that's his weapon, is to write and know that someone cares enough about the truth that they'll publish this letter and he can vent his frustration. And, you know, and I think about his dad doesn't have long left. And how his family uses the power of holding that phone. So they're in effect, they're torturing Stephen by not allowing him to speak to the two people in his life who have never turned their back on him. You know, they didn't allow him to say goodbye to his mother. And now they are likely doing the same thing with his dad, because we see it on Making a Murderer. His dad doesn't even hear the phone ring. So, you know what I mean? So he's dependent upon someone answering the phone and giving it to him
I didn't know his hearing was that bad.
Oh, it's bad.
Wow.
It's bad. You know, and I mean, and he's in his 80s. He's got to be, what, 84, 85 years old?
Oh, I'd bet every bit of that, yeah. I can't remember when Alan was born.
I mean, my parents are in their 70s. Or are they now? Almost in their 70s. So my dad will be 70 this year. So, you know, and I'm 17, 18 years younger than Stephen Avery, I think. So.
Yeah. If my dad would If my dad was still alive, he would be 70, he would be 93 this year on July 4th.
Yeah. So, and I cannot imagine the frustration one feels being innocent in prison and knowing that there are dozens of people that know you're innocent and they're all just going about their normal everyday life like they don't have the power to free you from hell.
Right.
It's got to be extremely frustrating. So, well, I guess we'll do this again in a couple of hours, guys.
Yep, we're gonna read the Colburn latest stuff, and yeah, it should be interesting.
Yeah, I look forward to it.
Is this under the open mic?
It will be under the open mic. It's scheduled, and it'll be 4:30 Central Time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, thank you everyone for coming and participating here and in the chat. It was a great discussion. And we will meet again soon.
This has been a Foul Play production. Hold on.